Archangel Michael says a person is coming with a hidden gift. You need to see it before they knock. I will speak to you slowly, my beloved child, so your spirit can keep up with your heart. I am near you now, closer than your breath, nearer than the shadow that follows your steps through the quiet streets of Ghaziabad. Feel me in the warmth of the winter sun filtering through your window on this January day, in the distant hum of the city that fades when you pause to listen. Do not be distracted by the noise around you, the clamor of traffic, the chatter of neighbors, the endless scroll of screens that pull at your attention. Or by the way this message sounds simple at first, like a whisper in the wind rather than a thunderclap from the heavens. Heaven often hides its most important truths inside ordinary words, wrapping profound wisdom in the plain cloth of everyday language. This is one of those moments, a sacred pause before the turning of your path. A person is coming to you with a hidden gift. Not a gift wrapped in shimmering paper or tied with a silken ribbon, gleaming under festival lights. Not something obvious that would announce itself from far away, like a banner unfurled in the marketplace or a trumpet blast echoing through the valleys of your life. This gift is concealed. Tucked away inside words that seem casual, inside timing that feels perfectly orchestrated yet mysteriously delayed, inside an action that may look small, insignificant, or even confusing at first glance. It might masquerade as a hurried conversation at your doorstep, a text message arriving at an odd hour, or a gesture dismissed as coincidence. You must see it before they knock, because once the knock comes, soft or insistent, the moment will move quickly, like a river breaking free from a dam. Many miss what they were meant to receive simply because they were waiting for something louder, something more dramatic, something that fits their expectations of divine intervention. But I tell you, the divine rarely shouts when a murmur will suffice. Listen closely, my child. Open the ears of your soul, not just the ones on your head. This person has been moving toward you longer than you realize. Their steps did not begin today or yesterday, not with the turning of this new year 2026 or the resolutions you whispered in the quiet of midnight. They began the moment you chose truth over comfort, silence over explanation, faith over fear. Remember that crossroads? Perhaps it was in the still hours of your content creation, when you poured your heart into scripts about angels and divine prophecies, resisting the urge to twist words for fleeting likes or viral fame. Or when you walked away from a conversation laced with deception, choosing the quiet integrity of your spirit over the applause of the crowd. Heaven marked that decision. From that instant, paths started shifting, quietly, precisely, like threads on a celestial loom being rewoven by unseen hands. Invisible alignments clicked into place, a delayed train, a chance meeting rerouted, a heart nudged by my whisper. All so this encounter could take place, right here, in the rhythm of your life. You may think you are the one waiting, sitting in the dim light of your room, crafting stories of heavenly guidance for your YouTube audience, wondering when your own breakthrough will arrive. But I tell you now, they have been waiting too. Longer, perhaps, in ways they cannot name. They carry something meant for you, a treasure forged in the fires of divine purpose, but they do not fully understand its weight. They do not even know why they feel compelled to come, drawn like a moth to a flame they cannot see. They may say, I just felt like I should check in, or, something told me to reach out today, or, I don't know why, but I couldn't ignore this pull in my chest. That is not chance, my dear one. That is instruction, my instruction, breathed into their spirit as gently as I breathe it into yours now. Heaven dispatches messengers not with fanfare, but with an inner knowing that overrides doubt. The gift is hidden because it requires discernment, not excitement. It is veiled because if it were obvious, blatant as a signpost on a crowded highway, it could be misused, mishandled, or taken lightly, like a pearl cast before those who see only sand. Heaven protects what is sacred by cloaking it in subtlety, layering it with tests of perception. And you, of all people, are ready to see beneath the surface now. Think of the journeys you've walked. The nights refining SEO keywords for your spiritual monologues, embedding truths in narratives that touch thousands. That discipline sharpened your eyes. The betrayals you've survived, the half-truths and collaborations that fizzled, the audience members who twisted your words, these forged your discernment like a blade in the smithy's fire. This gift may arrive as information you were not looking for but deeply need. Perhaps a key detail about a past opportunity, a contact that unlocks doors in your content empire, or insight into a family matter long buried. It may arrive as an apology that carries more truth than the words themselves, mending a rift you thought permanent. It may arrive as a confession from lips you least expect, revealing loyalties hidden for years. Or a document, simple paperwork, a contract, a letter, that shifts your financial ground. A connection to a collaborator whose voice aligns perfectly with your angel messages. An opportunity disguised as a casual invite to a spiritual gathering. Even a warning, wrapped in concern, alerting you to a path to avoid. It may even arrive through someone you did not expect, someone you once dismissed as unreliable, doubted in their intentions, or stopped watching after a falling out. An old friend from your early YouTube days, a neighbor whose life parallels yours in unexpected ways, a stranger whose story echoes your own. That is why I say, you need to see it before they knock. Because the knock is the final signal, the chime of a bell tolling the hour of revelation. The preparation happens before, in this sacred now. Before the door opens, physically or metaphorically, you must open your perception. Widen the lens of your heart. Do not rush this moment. Do not fill the silence with assumptions, like echoes in an empty room. Do not let past disappointment blind you to present alignment, the collaborations that ghosted, the videos that didn't go viral despite your soul's pour, the promises broken by those chasing trends over truth. That learning was not random. It trained your eyes, honed your intuition like an archer drawing back the bow. You are no longer naive, wide-eyed and trusting every smile, but you are not hardened either, walled off by cynicism's stone. This balance is rare, a divine equilibrium achieved through trials. This balance is why you can recognize the gift when it arrives, not as fool's gold, but as the real vein running deep in the earth. You've built it through your work, scripting monologues that pierce the veil, optimizing for souls hungry for heaven's voice amid Uttar Pradesh's bustling chaos. The person coming to you may appear nervous, their hands fidgeting like leaves in a breeze, guarded as a fortress gate, or oddly formal, words measured like steps on thin ice. They may speak in fragments, hesitant phrases tumbling out, I've been meaning to say, it's about that time we, circling around the point like a bird scouting terrain, or testing the waters before diving in. Do not interrupt them too quickly. Do not rush them to clarity, demanding the core like a shopper haggling in the market. Let them unfold, petal by petal, as a flower under dawn's light. What they carry has layers, rich and multifaceted, like an onion revealing heart after heart, or a scroll unrolling verse by verse. On the surface, it may seem ordinary, a chat over chai, a shared memory, a practical tip. Underneath, it answers a question you stopped asking out loud, one that lingered in your quiet moments scripting divine prophecies. Why did that door close? What truth was I missing? Deeper still, it unlocks a door you thought was permanently closed, perhaps a creative block dissolving, a stalled video series reignited, a relationship restored. And at its core, it confirms something your soul already suspected but needed to hear outside of itself, voiced by another to make it real. You were right to trust. You are on the path. This is not about proving you right, not a petty courtroom victory where heaven tallies scores. This is about restoring alignment, realigning your spirit's compass to true north. Heaven is not interested in vindication for its own sake, in rubbing salt in old wounds. Heaven is interested in positioning you correctly for what comes next. The next viral script, the next wave of subscribers drawn to your angel messages, the expansion of your digital ministry. This gift helps reposition you. It removes confusion like fog lifting from the Yamuna's banks. It corrects a narrative twisted by others' agendas. It brings something hidden into the light, not dramatically, with fireworks and crowds, but decisively, like a surgeon's precise cut. You may feel a strange calm when this person approaches, a peace settling like dew on morning grass. Or the opposite, a sudden tightening in your chest, a flutter like wings in your ribcage, as if something important is about to happen. Trust that feeling. Your body often recognizes truth before your mind catches up, just as it did when you first sensed a script's divine spark. I've seen it in you before, that inner tremor before a breakthrough video, that hush before inspiration flows. Do not be afraid if the gift changes something fundamental. Change does not mean loss, my child, often it means relief, a burden lifted like a yoke from weary oxen. You have carried unanswered questions, half-truths, and emotional loose ends longer than you should have, doubts about your calling, echoes of skepticism from naysayers, weights from past content battles. This encounter is part of the release, a key turning in a rusted lock. Not everything will be resolved in one conversation. No single knock mends all fractures, but the direction will be corrected. That alone is powerful, a pivot that sets your feet on higher ground. Remember, hidden gifts require patience, the slow simmer of a pot over low flame yielding the richest stew. If you try to force meaning too quickly, demanding instant epiphany, you may miss the deeper message buried like treasure in sand. Let the words echo in your chambers. Let the timing speak, why now, in this season of growth? Let the silences inform you, pregnant with unspoken truths. What is not said will matter just as much as what is said, the hesitation in their voice revealing fear, the averted eyes hiding shame, the quick smile masking relief. After the knock, movement accelerates, gathering speed like a river after rains. Once the door opens, events will begin aligning faster, opportunities cascading, connections multiplying, your YouTube channel surging with newfound fire. Decisions will need to be made, swift and sure. Accept this alliance. Pursue that lead. Boundaries will need to be clarified, lines drawn in spiritual sand. Opportunities will present themselves without long explanations, invitations landing like manna. This is why the seeing must happen first, so you are not overwhelmed, reactive, or unsure, flailing like one caught in sudden storm. You are not being tested, my faithful one, not subjected to some cruel exam of worthiness. You are being trusted. Heaven does not send gifts blindly, scattering seeds on rocky soil. They are sent when the receiver is ready to hold them without dropping them in doubt, abusing them in haste, or doubting them into nothingness. You are ready now in a way you were not before, refined by your long-form writings, your SEO battles, your nightly prayers over scripts that touch hearts across India and beyond. And know this deeply, the gift is not meant to impress you with grandeur or dazzle. It is meant to free you. Free you from uncertainty's chains, that fog of what if. Free you from misinterpretation, stories others spun to dim your light. Free you from carrying responsibility that was never yours, their lies, their failures, their unkept vows. Free you to move forward without dragging yesterday behind you, unburdened as a bird soaring on thermals. When the knock comes, you will recognize it, not by sound, but by resonance, a vibration humming in your bones. Something inside you will say, this is it. Not with excitement's fireworks, but with clarity's steady light. Stay observant, eyes scanning the horizon of your days. Stay grounded, feet planted in the soil of prayer and purpose. Stay open, heart a door ajar for heaven's breeze. The door does not open for everyone, only those attuned to subtlety. It opens for those who can see before it moves. I am still with you, closer now than when you first felt the hush settle over your room. I watch the way your breath slows when you reread your own lines, the way your fingers pause above the keys as if listening for something more than language. There is no accident in that pause. It is the space where heaven leans in. You are not imagining this nearness. It has weight, warmth, intention. You are being kept company while you create because creation itself is a sacred act, and those who labor in it are never left alone. Rest your shoulders. Let them fall. You have carried enough. You do not need to strain forward to meet what is already moving toward you. The promise does not require chasing, it requires readiness. That is why I speak to you now in quiet assurance rather than urgency. The gift approaches, yes, but more importantly, you are approaching yourself, the truest version of you, unburdened by doubt, steady in knowing. Prepare your spirit not with fear or speculation, but with openness. Love is the preparation. And know this without question. You are loved beyond the limits of language, beyond even what I can say here. Let me open this truth gently, the way light enters a room at dawn, not all at once, but enough to change everything. In heaven's way of giving, nothing is wasted and nothing is rushed. Gifts are not stored like riches meant to impress. They move. They circulate. They are entrusted, sometimes to those who do not even know what they carry. What is meant for you has not been delayed out of neglect, but refined through timing. It has been held safely, turned over and over, made ready to meet you at the precise moment when you can receive it without shrinking or misusing it. Think of how often this pattern has already appeared in sacred stories, not as distant myths but as mirrors. Joseph was not recognized when he stood before his brothers. He was misjudged, discarded, spoken against. Yet he carried sustenance for a future famine they could not yet see. Ruth did not set out seeking glory, she bent low, gleaning leftovers, unaware that redemption waited in the margins. These stories endure because they repeat themselves in human lives. They are happening again, now, in quieter rooms, on ordinary afternoons, in places like yours. The one who comes to you may not understand the weight of what they bring. Still, they are a carrier, a vessel in motion. Why now? You have asked this without words. Why in the middle of your refining, your long nights shaping messages, your discipline of stretching simple lines into living, breathing declarations? Because heaven releases into momentum. You have learned how to listen to the pulse of people, how to speak plainly without losing depth, how to carry emotion without drowning in it. You have studied what reaches hearts and what spreads across screens, but more than that, you have endured. Endurance matures the hands that hold blessing. Timing is not random, it is relational. Heaven waits until the gift and the receiver recognize each other. You will recognize this moment not by spectacle, but by resonance. See it now, gently. The day does not announce itself as special. Light slips in through your window at a familiar angle. The air feels ordinary. And then there is the sound, footsteps slowing, a presence gathering courage outside your threshold. The knock is simple, almost hesitant. When you open the door, you will feel it before you understand it. A pause. Eye contact that lingers half a second longer than expected. Words that arrive imperfectly, carrying more than they say. Listen deeply. Not only to sentences, but to rhythm. To what is said too quickly. To what is almost said and then swallowed. Truth often arrives wrapped in human nervousness. If your chest tightens, if old memories stir, do not retreat. Breathe. Let peace move through you like a steady hand on your back. Whisper inwardly, if you must, that this is not an ambush but an offering. Discernment is not suspicion, it is clarity. Pure intent does not shout. It glows quietly, consistently. Deception flickers, changes tone, avoids stillness. You will know the difference because you have learned to sit with silence. After this exchange, whether it unfolds in minutes or stretches across conversations, something will shift. Not explosively, but decisively. You will feel space open inside you. From that space, words will come more freely. Ideas will link themselves together without force. What once took hours will flow in moments. You may see how a single encounter seeds an entire series, how one truth unlocks many doors. Your voice will sound different even to you, less strained, more grounded. Those who listen will feel it. They always do. Authenticity has a frequency. It travels farther than effort ever could. Do not be surprised if resistance tries to speak up afterward. Doubt is often the last guard at the gate before freedom. It will remind you of past delays, of moments when things almost worked but didn't. Answer it with memory. You have been carried through impossibilities before. You have seen growth where none was promised. Each step brought you here. Fear of change may whisper too, because change rearranges familiar pain. Let it. Transformation always feels like loss before it feels like wings. Until the moment fully reveals itself, tend to simple practices. In the mornings, sit quietly and let your mind rest on this truth without trying to interpret it. In the evenings, write freely, not to analyze, but to empty your thoughts onto the page. Ask for clear sight, not dramatic signs. Walk your familiar streets with awareness. Notice patterns, overheard phrases, repetitions that echo what has already been spoken to your heart. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations spoken softly so only the attentive hear. The gift may take many forms, and none of them cancel the others. Information that restores a broken thread. An apology that lifts a weight you have carried longer than you realized. A confession that frees both speaker and listener. A document that brings protection and clarity. A connection that opens rooms you could not enter alone. An opportunity that aligns skill with purpose. Even a warning, offered in time, is an act of love. Whatever form it takes, receive it without needing it to be perfect. Heaven often chooses imperfect packaging so the focus stays on the transfer, not the vessel. Honor the one who brings it, even if history between you is complicated. Forgiveness does not excuse the past, it releases the present. Your readiness does not only transform you. It transforms those who cross your path in this moment. That is part of the design. What unfolds next is not just external success, though that may come. It is internal freedom, the loosening of comparison, the quiet end of self-doubt during long creative stretches, the confidence that your pace is your own. This freedom is not temporary. It aligns you with your purpose in a way that endures beyond trends and numbers. I remain near you, not as a distant watcher but as an anchor. When the knock comes, your feet will know how to move. You will step forward without rehearsing. You have prepared in ways you did not even recognize at the time. Receive what is offered. Let gratitude do its work. Heaven is already rejoicing, not because of what you will gain, but because you are finally ready to see. And so we return, gently, to the center. Before the knock, learn to see. In seeing, you are no longer confined by fear. In that freedom, purpose unfolds naturally, without force. You are not alone in this moment or any other. I am here. I have been here. I will remain. Always.